Hello, friend. Today's offering, I'm gonna watch my bird fly around the room. Hey, Bernie. Today's offering, I'm going to discuss the question of a popular topic for many religious people. Is yoga satanic? As well as discuss my experience, my personal experience. As you may have heard if you've watched my previous video on beliefs, a person's experience is what offers the true substance, the truer substance, as opposed to just their beliefs. So, is yoga satanic? I feel it's important to first define yoga as I am about to talk about it. So I'll define yoga as stretching, breath work, pranayama, and meditation. Stretching specifically, we'll isolate these a little bit. Stretching is the stretching portion of yoga satanic? Well, if you see a dog stretch, or you see a baby stretch, or you wake up in the morning and you're laying in bed and you stretch, do you have to run to the internet first to see if that form of a stretch is also considered a yoga pose, to know whether or not it's helpful to your body, or to whether it should be condemned and you should fear it? Or is the body just stretching because there's tightness and it needs to open energetically? If a person looks into the yoga poses, they'll see that there's a pose for different meridians. There's poses for your liver, for example, your liver meridian. There's poses for your kidney meridian. There's poses for your stomach meridian. There's poses for your gallbladder meridian. And what these poses are designed to do is encourage a stretch on that line of the body, or that portion of the body, so that the energy can open. Because in illness, what happens is the energy is the opposite of open. It's constricted and it's tight. You know, just in stress, we get tight. We get tense. Is a massage satanic? When a massage is just encouraging you to open up that stagnant energy and allow the energy, which would be flowing if you're naturally healthy, to flow into a more natural, healthful state. So all these yoga poses are doing is they're encouraging the opening of a specific meridian line to improve the energetic flow within that meridian. Qigong in Chinese medicine is the exact same in that manner. Yoga poses is yoga often involves holding a pose to elicit a stretch, where Qigong is moving in and out of a pose. But there's also Qigong exercises for the liver, for the gallbladder, for the stomach, and it's working on the exact same energetic meridians that yoga is. Have you ever heard, is acupuncture satanic? I've actually never heard anybody question that. I haven't researched it, but I've never heard it. I've never heard, is Qigong considered satanic either? So it seems to be yoga seems to be the common one. Acupuncture as well as Qigong and as well as yoga is using these points on the meridians, using them to cause a response to get the energy within that meridian to open up. So is yoga stretching specifically satanic? Not in the manner that it's being used intending to open up the energy pathways of the body and the meridians for your liver, for your stomach, for all of these lines of the body. It's no different than having a sore neck and stretching your neck. If you have a sore neck, that could be your gallbladder meridian, for example. You just might not be aware of it. So just because you become aware of it and see in yoga that it gives you a specific stretch, the exact same stretch that you were doing, and it's got a name and is defined in yoga, that doesn't make it satanic. Breath work. Is breath work in yoga satanic? I just took a breath there that was different than I had been breathing previous to it. Our body naturally changes our rate of breath. If we hold our exhale, if we hold our inhale, our body is always changing things. Our breath isn't just static, meaning it has one way and it does that the whole time. And the reason the body, or the reason the breath does that is because it's adjusting what's going on with us physiologically. Because the breath is a tool to affect heart rate, parasympathetic nervous system, sympathetic nervous system, your anxiety, your groundedness, all of these things. And in yoga, they just understand this to a greater depth, to where they say, okay, if you do this specific type of breath work here, this specific breath practice, it will be energizing and invigorating. Maybe you are too energized and you need to ground, while it will offer a different breathing practice. Wouldn't that be helpful? Doesn't that sound like a great idea? Does that sound like a bad thing? Would you prefer to take a medication? Or would you prefer to be empowered and understand how to use this ability that you have within you, develop it, practice it, apply it, and bear its fruit? All right, so is breath work satanic? Not as I understand it, not as I've experienced it. And I practice both. I practice all three: stretching, breath work, and meditation. Is meditation satanic? This is maybe the greatest reason for why some people think yoga is satanic. Whereas meditation is, in the Bible they say, or it is said, be still and know that I am God. Being still is, as I understand it, mean the stillness of mind. Meaning, in a state of meditation, we are choosing not to be disturbed by the mental chatter, the mental chaos. We are instead investing and identifying with the stillness of mind that is underneath all of that chatter. When you begin to practice meditation, you see that chatter, sorry about that, if you hear that audio. You see that chatter is a source of negativity, oftentimes negativity, anger, hate, spite, discomfort. There's another word for all of that, and it's Satan. The ego, or the carnal mind as it's called in the Bible. Ego as it's referred to in more spiritual groups. That is the source of Satan. So when you go into meditation, what you're doing in a very simple understanding is you are developing through practice the surrender of the ego. Said in another way, you are developing the surrender, not to, but of Satan. You're developing the ability to surrender identification with these negative, egoistic / carnal mind / satanic thoughts that arise, and just mindlessly identifying with them and taking action on that. So meditation is not only not satanic, it's the purification of Satan. Having said all of that, I currently live in Canada, and I am aware how yoga has been the ego has gotten a hold of yoga and created many egoistic yoga expressions. It's become fantasized about, it's become sexualized, it's become glamorized, which isn't the purest intention or application of yoga. However, so has going to church. And it doesn't make church bad just because a couple people, or because people can potentially misunderstand the value of it and use it improperly. That doesn't make it bad. Water isn't inherently good or inherently evil. It can quench a thirst, or it can be used to drown somebody. How is it being used? Is it being used in a loving manner with loving intent? Or is it being used in a disconnected, mindless manner? So anything can be nurturing or unnurturing, depending on one's intent to express it. So, in addition to just this topic of is yoga being satanic, yes or no, I understand that most of what I have covered here isn't going to be isn't often received well by the people who are looking to and prefer to believe that putting my arm up to the ceiling to stretch my gallbladder meridian in a yoga pose is satanic. They want to believe that. So what I would like to do is encourage those people to have their own experience, learn some breath work that's maybe not considered yoga, and see if you can have an experience. Learn to practice a little bit of meditation and have an experience. Become aware how that ego ragdolls you and makes you feel all these negative emotions. And see that you can practice surrendering it, and you don't have to identify with it, and you don't have to respond and react to it. That ego is the devil on your shoulder sort of type of thing. Challenge your beliefs and understand that your belief that yoga is satanic, if you are holding that belief, is that it's not your own personal experience. It's only something you've heard, and that's all beliefs are. Beliefs are preferences or wishes or limitations, or all three. They are not personal experiences. There are people who heal life-threatening illnesses using yoga. Because if they've got a liver disease and they start doing yoga poses for their liver, it starts opening up that liver meridian just as it was designed to do in yoga. And what do you think happens? Energy starts moving. Energy gets restored. If you've got a tight neck, don't even think about yoga, but if you've got a tight neck and you do some stretches on your neck, what happens? Energy starts moving and energy is restored. Don't allow your ego to pretend to make yoga something that is not. Because if you're so invested in what is satanic, maybe you could switch that and start being invested in what is so godlike and what is so nurturing. And when you start to understand stretching your meridians and breath work and meditation, all three of those are highly nurturing. All three of those are highly nurturing. All right. I'll end this offering there. Please don't believe anything I said. Instead, I encourage you to do these things, have your own experience, and gain your own understanding. The beliefs are my limitations. Beliefs are your limitations. Let's encourage one another to begin to stop valuing things that we do not know and start investing in things that we do understand through experience. All right, I love you, my friend. You are awesome. Thank you for changing the world. And have an awesome day.